Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my live streams. I originally wanted to do more impromptu videos of this nature during the holiday season, but because I was ill twice and traveling a little bit, I did not get a chance to do it. But again, I want to try to correct some of that stuff by doing some of these impromptu live streams earlier in the day so as to give people in other parts of the world, other parts of the country, an opportunity to be part of the live streams. So shout out to everyone in Germany and the UK, certainly those up in Canada, those in Italy and Russia and all of those other places where you watch these videos and when you reach out to me. I want to say thank you guys for taking the time to watch, and this video is definitely dedicated to some of you guys. It is also dedicated, I want to give a shout out to some Patreon members who have been very supportive of the channel, including our newest Patreon by the name of Jeff P. And I have been having a great conversation earlier today. I definitely want to thank him for signing up for Patreon, but want to give a shout out to Chris B, Comic Books NYC, David S, Jeff P, who we talked about, Josh A, Josh D, Old Man K, Closet Geek, Nicholas, Joa, Noah, and Tina K, and also Wayne. Shout out to all of those Patreon members who continue to support the channel on an ongoing basis, and shout out to all of you out there that watch these videos. I definitely want to thank you guys. And so looks like we have some folks that have kind of flowed into the room here. I want to say hello to a couple of you guys as we get going. White Whale Comics is in the house. How you doing, brother? Joe, how you doing? Herbzilla, Wayne, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Unruly Simeon is in the house, my man. Joe Comics Club, how you doing? Mike is in the house. Lon Espinosa, where have you been, man? How you doing? It's good to see you, brother. Quest Dog, what does he say? Just got his box. Make a post on IG soon. Very nice, very nice. Antoine, how you doing? It's definitely good to see you guys. Yes, it is indeed early, but again, this is all in an attempt to give some people that don't normally have an opportunity to participate in the live streams an opportunity to do so. It is 10 o'clock here in California. I am feeling a little bit better every single day. But what I wanted to do with this video is I wanted to jump on here and I wanted to talk very briefly about some news that was broken recently by Lord of the Long Box. He basically put out, I think, a pretty cool video, kind of vlog style video that he put out where he announced that he has some insider information that says that the Illuminati are going to be making an appearance in the MCU, and they are going to, according to his reports, they are going to be making an appearance in an upcoming MCU movie, which many of you have probably heard about. It is this one right here. It is the new Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And this is one includes Doctor Strange and, of course, Wanda. I'm not sure who that is in the background. If you look in the very middle between the two of them, I'm not quite sure who that is, but they are definitely in the Sanctorium. You can see the windows back there behind them. But according to Lord of the Long Box and his insider information, the Illuminati are going to be making an appearance in this movie right here. And so I wanted to jump on here because I've seen a couple of people put up several different posts on Instagram and things like that, talking about some of the books that they are actually going to go out and buy. And so I wanted to provide maybe a little bit of guidance for folks out there, a little bit of additional insight to help folks out. As always, with any of this stuff, whether you are watching my videos or whether you're watching some other people's videos, you definitely want to use your own judgment when you think about how you want to spend your hard-earned money, right? How you want to spend your cash. I just want to help you guys out just a little bit. Backseat, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Just a little bit of guidance. I want you guys to think about what you're doing before you take the money out of your pocket, before you head over to eBay and impress the buy now button or whatever it happens to be. I just want to give you guys a little bit of insight. All right. So I want to show you a couple of books that have been in my collection literally since 2005. These books go back to 2005. And a lot of people say that I am not a speculator And it's true. It's true that I'm not a traditional speculator, but what I am, I think, is a person that tries to plan and tries to think strategically about things based upon what I actually see happening. And so a lot of these books have been in the collection for quite some time. Not that I saw an MCU movie happening, right? Let's be clear about that. But what I do try to do is to pay attention to important books, and I try to buy what I think are important books, right? That's where I was going with that, with that thought. So let me finish that one off. So here's one book that a lot of folks may be interested in picking up. I did not get a chance to look at the prices of these books, but I have a feeling that none of these are going to be terribly expensive, to be honest with you. But this is one of them. This is The Road to Civil War, starring the new Avengers. This is issue number 1. And I actually bought this book at the House of Pop Culture in Waldorf, Maryland. I bought this book a while ago. This book actually dropped in May of 2006. And this one, I have not read it in a very long while. I'll be honest with you. I want to say that this actually gives a little bit of background on the Illuminati themselves, who they are, how they came together, all of that kind of stuff. But what's also in here in the very back is a backup story. It's a second story in here that actually is like a prelude, I think, or maybe a sneak peek, I want to say, maybe into Civil War and what actually sparked the Civil War. And there were some activities I think many of you know about that happened in Connecticut. That is in the back of this book, but this is one book I actually pay probably too much for it. Pay $15 for this back in 2006. Like I said, down in Maryland. They definitely got a nice little chunk of money out of me for this one. But there you go. This is one. Again, use your judgment. I don't know if this is the one you want to buy, but I want to give you guys at least some insight that this is a book that you may want to think about, maybe do a little bit of research on to see if it's something that you want to pick up. So let me scroll down to make sure. All right. So this next book, this next set of books is basically the new Avengers Illuminati. This is basically a self-contained miniseries. I think it's 5 books. And if memory serves, each one of them is almost a separate story, a separate kind of point in time. I think that there are some threads that kind of go through them, but I want to say, if I remember correctly, each one of them is essentially a standalone story. This one probably is one of my favorite covers out of all of them. It features all of the Illuminati right here on the cover. It's actually really, really cool. This is a Bendis story. I actually have 2 copies of this. And again, I've owned both of these for quite some time, but this is a cool book right here. If you're interested in checking it out, you definitely can read it digitally if you decide not to pick it up. One of the hotter books I want to say is this one right here. This is issue number 2 of 5. And this is the one where basically the Illuminati take possession of the Infinity Gauntlet. You can see Reed right there rocking the Infinity Gauntlet. This is a really cool cover. And again, if memory serves, a standalone story from what I just showed you and what is coming up in the next couple of moments. This one, these all dropped, I want to say, after February of 2007. Here is issue number 4. I do not have issue number 3, or maybe I misplaced issue number 3 somewhere in the collection, but this is issue number 4. Issue number 3 is a really cool blue cover that hopefully I can locate somewhere in the collection. Here is issue number 5, and you can see Elektra down there as a scroll. You can see that one. And again, all standalone stories if memory serves. This one's probably the plainest of all of the covers. Though that is, again, a standalone mini series featuring the Illuminati, some really good stories. If memory serves, Bendis did a good job while he was writing some of those. So what does this say? Lon says, Illuminati storyline will be a sweet long-term storyline for the MCU, and hopefully, yeah, and here that's part of the speculation that Lord of the Long Box actually dropped in his video. He basically was saying that when the Illuminati are introduced into the MCU in the new Doctor Strange movie. He was basically saying that that's where they are going to actually introduce the members of the Illuminati. And so there is the speculation that we're actually going to see like Black Bolt, Charles Xavier, Namor, and also Mr. Fantastic, potentially, along with these other yahoos in the upcoming Doctor Strange movie. And so that would be huge, right? Because if that happens, you can think about all of the follow-on movies that would actually come from having, X-Men in here, Namor, the Fantastic Four, the Inhumans, et cetera, et cetera. This has some tentacles that can go for a very, very long time, to Lon's point. And so it'll be very interesting to see if this does indeed actually happen. Who knows if it will happen? And that's why I'm also saying definitely use your best judgment when you decide what you want to do. So have a good one, Jeff. I think he said he has to go to work or something like that. Do what you have to do, brother. It is definitely good to see you. Thank you for swinging by for a little while. All right. So here, let me show you this. So those right there are a couple, I think, of really cool books, right? They give you some background, that tell some interesting stories about the Illuminati. Will there be some value in those books? I don't know. I don't think that any of those books are expensive. I probably paid a lot more for those books back in the day than what they're worth right now, but they are in the collection, which is perfectly fine. The money has already been spent and forgotten about, right? That's probably the best way to do it. But I don't know if there's going to be any long-term value in those books. I don't know if when the trailer or when the movie drops, whether those are the books that are going to spike in value. I honestly don't know about any of it. I don't know about any of it. But if there were to be some positive financial impact that comes out of the Illuminati appearing in the MCU, it might happen with this book right here. This is New Avengers number 7. This is by Bendis. This is a gorgeous cover. I absolutely love this cover. This is where Spider-Woman, in my opinion, really shined. This is when a lot of these characters really shined back in the day, to be honest with you. This New Avengers story run was really, really fantastic. I read all of them back in the day and absolutely enjoyed them. But this book could potentially have some upside to it. The reason for it is because this is actually the first appearance of the Illuminati. This one dropped in July of 2005. This is New Avengers number 7, first appearance of the secret organization known as the Illuminati. This is the book that this is the book that they actually appeared in. It is also the start of the Sentry Part 1. This is when I realized that the Sentry was a dope character, and I also realized, because of how they introduced the Sentry, at a time for me, it was a little mind blowing, because I had believed what they wrote in the comic, that the Sentry was this character that had been around forever, right? And I was like, well, how did I miss this character, right? And at the time, I was coming back in the comics again, right? After having been out since the 90s. And I remember trying to do research and was like, wait a minute, I think that this is just a really, really good retcon / story being written. And sure enough, that is exactly what it was. It was them being extremely creative with how they actually told this story. Natasha, how you doing? Welcome to the live stream. Spider-Woman is coming up a lot recently. Strike Force and our own new series coming out March. Yeah, I think that there could be something to a lot of the noise that gets made around certain characters. Maybe there's something happening with Spider-Woman. I think there's definitely some things that are happening with Franklin Richards. So you never know. So she spawns like that cover, though. I'm telling you, that cover is one of my favorite. Let me restate. If you check out this story arc, if you check out New Avengers, there are a ton of really, really nice covers. And then the stories are also incredible as well. There are several featuring Spider-Woman that I think are really, really interesting. At one point, I actually had a lot of them. This is back in the day. I had them pinned to the wall with tacks because there's also a set of variants that came out that all connect. And I want to say maybe like issues 1 through 9 or something like that, but they all connect into a single piece that is really, really incredible. So again, New Avengers number 7 could have some upside to it because it is the first appearance of the team known as Illuminati. But then I also want to point out this book. This is another. This is the variant. This is the variant of the New Avengers number 7. But this is the Neil Adams variant. And you can see here, this is the fake version of the Sentry that they said was introduced and created by I think Stan back in the day or something like that. But this is the Neil Adams variant. And I want to say that this one is probably less expensive than the one that I just showed you a few moments ago. I want to say 9/8 were probably around $20 or something like that. And when I looked for the A cover, I want to say it was like $40. And we'll actually pull up GoCollect here real quick and look. But I actually have 2 copies of that one. And again, both of these have been in the collection for quite some time. Paid $10 for for this Neil Adams back in the day from House of Pop Culture down in Waldorf, Maryland. So shout out to Waldorf, Maryland right now. If you're in Maryland, I've been there. Scrolling down through the comments here. Burke, how you doing, brother? It's definitely good to see you. What, you don't remember the classic Simon Kirby sent? Bro, I scratched my head on that one. I was like, how did I miss this one? And again, it's one of those things where when you've been out of the hobby for such a long time, you forget things, and you're like, well, maybe I did not know that, or maybe I forgot that, or maybe I wasn't paying attention, or maybe it's because I was young that I just did not know that. But again, it's just, I thought it was really, really good writing. I think that they've done a lot with the Sentry over the years and how they've handled the Sentry. That makes that whole dynamic of him being forgotten in time really, really powerful. And the Sentry is another one of those characters, along with maybe Franklin Richards and maybe along with Spider-Woman, to someone's point here, that we're starting to hear about a lot. In a lot of different ways. And I don't know what it means. I don't know if there's big series that are going to be coming out regarding these characters. I don't know what it means, but there are certain characters that you are starting to hear over and over again. So let me scroll through the comments here, making sure. Okay, I think I got everything. Lost Comic Junkie says, just completed volume 1 of Spider-Woman. Congrats. Those are definitely some cool covers. It's been a while since I tried to read them, so I don't really remember how good the writing was, but I know I have several of them. I actually was going through some bins earlier today looking at Spider-Woman. So I know I have a number of volume 1 of Spider-Woman. At one point I had 7 copies of issue number 1. I bought a collection, and man, I think there were numerous copies of Spider-Woman number 1 in there. So let me scroll down to the bottom. Let me scroll. All right, so let's go real quick. Let's pop over really quickly to take a look at GoCollect. I want to see whether we can pull up a little bit of pricing information and also maybe some census data for you guys. All right, so here is, hopefully you guys can actually see that. Let me make sure. Yep, you can. All right, so let me make this a little bit bigger. So over here on GoCollect, you can see that this is New Avengers number 7, one of the books we were just talking about. You can see that the FMV right now is about $48 for this book. We can go ahead and click on the title here, see what it tells us. We can see, again, FMV right now, which is fair market value, is at $48. Look at the most recent sales. You can see, what does that say? $70. Someone got a smoking deal here not that long. Well, in July for $9.99, $65, $42, $63. So you can kind of see what's going on with the FMV. Not a crazy expensive book. Again, who knows what's going to happen with this book, if anything at all. But over here on the right, you can see some of the census data. There's basically 78 or so on the census. 68 of them are universal, and then 10 of them are signature series. What I will probably tell you about this book, to be completely honest, there's 97 total on the census, 21 signature series of that. Uh, my guess is that there are a lot more of these books that are out there in the universe that have not been sent into CGC. So please do not be influenced by the census data. Do not let the census data be a motivator for you to take action, because I just feel like this is just, because there isn't a whole lot of value in here, people just haven't sent it in, because it depended upon how you send your books into CGC. You might spend $35 to get it clean, pressed, and graded. So the fact that its F&V is at 48 kind of makes it one of those things where people are like, maybe I won't send it in. Maybe I'll hold on to it and keep it raw, right? Hence my copies of it raw, right? So that is the cover A of New Avengers #7, first appearance of the Illuminati. Let's go ahead and take a look at this Neil Adams variant real quick here. You can see that there's the 9.8. The book is basically going for $26 at one point, $40, $49. What is that? $60. This one definitely has some more fluctuations going on with it, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. Definitely fewer sales at 11 versus I think it was 22 for the last. And again, you can see here that there's actually more activity with this book. There's 161 total of these on the census, of which 44 are signature series, 2 are qualified, 115 of them are blue label. But again, I would not be compelled by the CGC census data one way or the other with this one. My guess is that people know Neil Adams worked on this one, and so they bought this one. They've gone and had him sign it, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know that I would let CGC census data for this book be a huge motivator for me to take any kind of action. So there you go. Let me scroll down to see what you guys are talking about in the comment section. Burke family is saying GoCollect is a great resource. Yes, indeed it is. I've used GoCollect for probably now over 2 years, and absolutely love the service. If you guys are interested in trying the service out, if you head over to my website, there is a code on my partners page where you can actually get 30 days of GoCollect access for free. The code is on the partners page. You go there, you grab it, you register at GoCollect, you plug that code in, you get 30 days for free to be able to test it out. I enjoy GoCollect. I pay my $4.99 every single month because it's definitely a really, really cool service. So, so scrolling down through the comments here, one sec. Scrolling what one of the splash pages I've seen in a long time says, Lazarus, how you doing, brother? It's definitely good to see you. Okay, I think that's pretty much covers everything. So She Spawn saying, thanks for the heads up, Reggie, heading into work now. She Spawn, have a good day at work. Thank you for coming to hang out just a little bit. I absolutely appreciate you, my friend. Guys, just saw for my LCS, my son is having a sketch drawn on a new black variant by a local artist. Very nice, very nice. All right, so that's basically the rundown on this thing. I saw the news that had come out from Lord of the Long Box regarding the fact that the Illuminati may be making an appearance in an upcoming MCU movie. So I wanted to jump on here, show you guys a couple of books that you may want to look into if you're thinking about speculating on the Illuminati. There's another video that I posted to the community tab that you may want to check out as well. If indeed the Illuminati do make an appearance, that would mean that potentially Namor will be on deck because he is in the Illuminati. And so on the community tab, I posted up a video where I highlighted some water related keys that folks may be interested in. This is actually a video that I released a couple of months ago. It was a pretty popular video. But again, if you believe that the Illuminati, and if you believe that Namor will be making their way to the MCU, these are books that you might want to at least be aware of. And again, use your judgment, do your research, think about it yourself. Don't just go over to eBay and start buying stuff. Think about it a little bit. Make sure that you're making an informed decision with your money and with your collection. All right. So let me scroll down through the comments here. Rush is in the house. How you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Hydra, how you doing? Michael P is in the house. I am doing better. I am doing better, Harvey. Thank you for asking, brother. Definitely appreciate that. Namor, what is this? John Brendel says Namor, Professor X, Black Bolt, all three could be great specs. And that's the thing, is that you potentially could go down the path of trying to track down the appearances of some of these other characters. But depending upon which character you're talking about, they can be really, really expensive. And so Namor, for example, forget about it, right? Namor's really, really, key books are really, really pricey. And so if you take a look at the video that I put together, I do like water related, right? So Namor related things, but not like go out and buy, a Marvel Comics #1 or some crazy book like that. I give you a couple of things that I think could be really cool, based upon what we've seen in the MCU, knowing that Namor has been around for a long time and done a lot of things. I'll give you a couple of books that you may want to kind of think about. So, yeah, the Black Bolt's first appearance isn't crazy expensive. I mean, it's up there. Professor X, yeah, I mean, again, some of these are really expensive. So I'm trying to take a slightly different path with some of this stuff for folks to consider. All right. So hopefully that helps. I'm taking a break on spec. I heard that, brother. I heard that. And that's why I am showing you spec books from the collection that have been here since 2005, because there is this thing, man. If you spend money on spec, it will take money away from other things. I mean, there is no doubt about that. And I've taken, to some degree or another, a break myself to really focus on Amazing Spider-Man. And I'll tell you that a lot of progress has been made on Amazing Spider-Man. I've spent probably a couple of hours in this room over the last day and a half, checking my progress, and videos will be coming soon. I tell you, someone just dropped the super chat. Lost Comic Junkie. Thank you, brother. I definitely appreciate that super chat for the new year. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. What is this? John says, my pickup of FF45 in English and Spanish are looking like insanely. Here's the thing. I've had people say that I am not a speculator, which is kind of sort of true. But what I do try to do is to think about important comics that are out there. I look at the landscape of what is actually happening out there, and I ask myself what if questions, right? I kind of begin to prioritize the purchase of certain books over other books based upon what I'm actually seeing transpire. And, is it luck? I don't know. Or were you reading the tea leaves, my friend? Were you reading the tea leaves? And I will say to you, congratulations, John, on picking those books up. AF45, I'm sorry, FF45 is definitely a really cool book. So congrats on that. If you want to send me one, I'll take it. I'm joking. Scrolling down to the comments here, seeing what else you guys are talking about. Scrolling down, Mr. Comic 89. How you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Here we go. Oh my goodness. I was giving John way too much credit. John says, I picked it up, man, because my son is a fan for Lockjaw. Every kid is a sucker for a dog, brother. No, that's cool, man. That's cool. Lockjaw is definitely a cool character. I was watching a video earlier today, and it was talking about Beta Ray Bill was squaring off against someone, and Lockjaw jumped in the way, got hurt, and Beta Ray Bill just wrecked shop because his dog had been injured. And I guess these two are like long-term friends that have gone on like some great adventures or something like that. So Lockjaw is definitely a cool character. Definitely a cool character. Shout out to your son. Let me see what else you guys are talking about. Anthony is in the house. How you doing, brother? He says, good afternoon. I hope to see you at the MegaCon in Orlando this year of 2020. I don't know. I talked about this recently in a live stream where I've basically been approached by a group to come to various cons across the country to do live streams and to do a little bit of coverage from various cons. I've had one preliminary conversation with not a whole lot of detail, so I'm not sure whether it's going to materialize. Me traveling solely for the purpose of just coming to a con to hang out is a little tough because of the whole, family job thing. And with my job, I tend to have to travel a lot, which means that it takes time away from the family. And so traveling just for, the sake of traveling away from the family is just, I struggle with that, but you never know. You honestly never know what could happen. Whenever I mention it to my wife, she always just looks at me and she's like, just go get on a plane. That's just how she is. So you never know. You never know. My guy, White Whale Comics, was trying to get me to come down there. So you never know. You never know where I will make an appearance. So stay tuned. Scrolling down through some of the comments here. Let me see what else you guys are talking about. How you doing, brother? He says, almost missed it, was bagging and boarding the new Thor. Hey, Donnie Cates. Thor 1, incredibly dope. I read it, incredibly dope. I the Jason Aaron Thor, I honestly enjoyed that. I went through and I read bits and pieces of what Jason Aaron had done, and it was really good. I read issue number 1 of Thor by Donnie Cates. It was really good. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what he does with this, whether he ties it to some other things that he's done in the past, whether he ties it to Null, because a lot of people are expecting, not to give it away, but the Black Winter to be Null. I don't know where he is going to go with this, but it is going to be interesting. I think it's going to be really, really fun. I sent a message to my LCS and was like, hey, I might need you to put this on the pull list so that I can stay abreast of all the great stuff that comes out from my man Donnie Cates and Thor. So how you doing, brother? Plays, how you doing? Scrolling down through the comments here. No, brother. No. So my kids are 5 and will be 3. 6 hours on a plane. I just did it. It is not fun. My wife doesn't like comics that much, and we used to live in Florida, so we spent a lot of time in Orlando. I've competed several times in Orlando. She's a flight attendant that doesn't necessarily fly, and she was based out of Orlando, so we spent a lot of time down in that area. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Scrolling through. Unofficial invite for the Calgary. My wife is a beast, man. I absolutely love her. She's just like, do whatever you want to do. But I feel guilty. When I take so much time away. What is this? Steel? Would love to see your coverage and insights. Yeah, man. I mean, it could be fun. Like, it was one of those things where they were like, hey, do you think you'd be interested? I'm like, who says no to that? Who says no to having like behind the scenes access, if you will, at cons? I mean, it's a cool idea, right? I mean, I would have to do a lot to be able to do it in terms of like my setup. As you guys know, it works pretty well. But I might need some additional equipment to really be able to do it, especially if I'm going to be talking to people and interviewing them. I don't have this great, microphone set up to like travel. I mean, it's not really set up for that. So I might need some additional equipment. But yeah, it could be a pretty cool thing. If it materializes, it could be a really cool thing. So stay tuned. You never know. 2020 could be a really cool year for the channel. I mean, let's be honest, 2019 was incredible. 2018 was unexpected. And so it's all gravy. It's all gravy for me. So scrolling down through some of the comments here. Oh, I like that comment from Harvey Abel. Scrolling down through the comments here. Oh man, Bearded Comic Collector. How you doing, brother? He says he just watched The Mandalorian. There is potentially nothing greater that you could have binged watched on, my man. The Mandalorian was fantastic. That last episode, incredible. The Mandalorian, if there was anything that could make me a fan of like Star Wars, it would be The Mandalorian. And I cannot wait until they drop the announcement that they're renewing this thing and they're bringing it back for a second season, because I honestly don't see how they could not, given the success of this incredible TV show. It it was really, really well done. And I've spoken about this before. There were aspects to The Mandalorian that I did not fully appreciate, like some of the historical things that occurred, just because I'm not a Star Wars. I'm not up on the Star Wars lore. I'm not, I'm not into all the history and the nuance and stuff like that. But I enjoyed it. And I kind of liken it, honestly, to, I think, how a non-comic book person might actually enjoy an MCU movie. They go, they watch it, and they enjoy it because it's a really wonderful story that is being told with really great characters and fantastic actors, right? That is kind of how I look at The Mandalorian. But like those people that go to the MCU movies, there are nuances that they miss because they are not up on the history and the significance of little details that you and I would readily recognize and geek out on. But people can still enjoy it. And that's kind of, my experience with The Mandalorian. I'm like, if I were a true Star Wars fan, I'd probably just be gushing over it. But even without that, I still enjoy it. I still binge watch a couple of episodes and at a time if I can, right? If they've come out and I've missed a couple or whatever, I would binge watch it, but just thoroughly enjoyed it. So Bearded Comic Collector, I'm glad you enjoyed it, brother. You're definitely up on game right now. Don't sleep on Venom 3. Brother, I don't think anyone is sleeping on Venom 3. I don't think anyone is sleeping on Null. I don't think that that's going to happen. And I've actually spoken about this before, and I think some people kind of misconstrued some of the comments. Basically, what I was kind of hinting at before is that Donny Cates is like, he has been given like the golden keys to the kingdom. And he is basically like a Jonathan Hickman, to some degree or another, like a Jason Aaron or whatever. They are like, Marvel's like, do what you want to do. Just go be glorious, right? And so what he is doing is he is going to, because he has created this character of Null, he is going to continue to build Null up. He is going to continue telling these really wonderful stories that make Null into a bigger character because it's his creation. And so my feeling is that he is probably going to do something with Thor that is going to tie it to Null. And I think, again, it's really, really smart on his part. The dude is literally building a legacy for himself, for his future, issue by issue. And it's really wonderfully done. I personally don't think that it's forced. I think that it's really well done, but yeah, I don't think anyone's sleeping on Venom 3. Not at all. And if they are just probably just not paying attention, or just like, whatever. I'm not interested in Marvel or really good storytelling or really cool characters. Scrolling down to the comments here. John is saying, so does the wife prefer to be called Mrs. Collects or Reggie's better half? Brother, if I were you, I'd stick with Kelly. I would just stick with Kelly. I would not. She's tough. I would not play with her. No. My wife is like, whatever. She's whatever. She doesn't care. Scrolling down through some of the comments here. Yeah. So John is saying Null has some roots with Thor in the past as well. Donny Cates is weaving his stories in the Marvel Universe, past, present, and future, which is just really, really good storytelling. That is what the dude is doing. He is crushing his. What is this? But Donnie is trying to rock us to sleep. He's trying to make us forget. Scrolling through the comments here. The Canadians are going hard in here. We love Canada. Canada is the second, I want to say it's the second largest group of individuals that actually follow me on the YouTube machine. Let me see if I can find my stats here real quick. I'll give it to you guys. Want to say that Canada is up there. Man, where are my stats? Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, about 7% of my audience is actually Canadian, and which I think is really impressive. United Kingdom is almost 4%. And then we have Australia at 0.4 and the Philippines. Shout out to the Philippines. I didn't know you guys were on the board. Shout out to you guys at 0.2%. On another good note, 7% of my audience has now grown to women. I think we were at just about 4% or 5% recently. Now it's shot up to 7%. So some magic is being made out there. Hello, ladies. How you doing? Canada, I'm looking at you. Philippines, shout out to you. What is this? Have I thought about getting the name Garage Con? No, I haven't thought about that. I haven't thought about it. Not at all. Garage Con. A couple of people are trying to get me to take Garage Con on the road. I don't know how you can take your garage on the road. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work that way unless you have a mobile home, but then you wouldn't have a garage because anyway, hold on one sec. Still battling through the cold. Sully Two Kings, how you doing, brother? It is definitely good to see you. Scrolling through the comments here from Missouri. You guys are hilarious. Rome, how you doing? Welcome to the live stream. Rome says, new subscriber here. He is in the 0.2%. Shout out to you in the Philippines, my brother. I definitely appreciate you taking the time to watch. And again, what's really cool, I think I was playing around, like I said a couple of months ago, I was like, we are international, and we are. There are a lot of people from all around the world that actually watch the channel, which I think is really cool, which is part of the reason why, again, I decided to do some live streams earlier in the day so that people like my man Rome could actually participate versus in the middle of the night. Here we go. Natasha's like, I'm probably in part 0.001% in the Netherlands. We appreciate you regardless of how large your population on the channel is. Oh my goodness. There we go. I definitely appreciate that. That is a very, very kind comment, man. That is a very kind comment. I definitely appreciate that. I did not know she was in the Netherlands either, to be honest with you. People are everywhere, man. I know she made a couple of comments before when I was unable to kind of extend certain giveaways to larger groups of people, but I did not know where she was. But now we know. Now we know it is the Netherlands. So scrolling down through the comments here, did I see Austria? I think I just saw Austria. Oh, it is the middle of the night. My bad. I need a world clock to be able to track the time. No, seriously, Roma, I definitely appreciate you, brother, hanging out just a little bit. So thank you very much. All right. So I think I'm at, Belgium. Belgium's in the house. Here's Bart's don't forget about Belgium. Yeah, I think that's a pretty small percent as well. But again, glad to have you. Glad you were able to join the live stream here. What is this? Darth says, made a live stream on a day off. Sneaking around for the end of one. Okay, there we go. So definitely appreciate that. One quick thing I'll give you guys. What is this? Always appreciate a middle of the day live stream. Means we get it at a decent time here in the UK. Usual live streams. Yeah, I know, brother. It is rough. I'm not even sure how you join those live streams at that time, but I definitely appreciate you, brother, being able to hang out just a little bit. So, at least we got one right. Okay, so over here in Austria, it is 7:34 p.m. At least we got one. We got one right. Hold on. That was my eBay. My eBay thing just went. I told you guys I am working on a couple of things. I need to read that comment in a second. I am going to wrap this thing up because I might need to jump in the car and go pick something up. So this. If you guys are interested, if you are in the US or in Canada or have a mailing address in the US, this is the GoCollect book that I'm actually giving away this week. It is Batman 181, the first appearance of Poison Ivy. Really, really cool book that has neither been cleaned nor pressed and has a little bit of a spine roll that could potentially be corrected if someone actually wins this book and decides to crack it. If you are interested in picking this book up, there is a video that is on the channel right now that was released at some point between Monday and Friday. You may want to go find that video. In that video, I will give you a phrase. That phrase is what you will need when you head over to the community tab and you find the post to be able to enter the giveaway for this week. The video is out there. If you find it, the contest wraps up tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Pacific time. So you may want to take a couple of moments to go check out the video. All right. So, Hillbilly, bro, Did you watch yesterday's video? I hope you watched yesterday's video because you may have something in there. What is this? What is this? Did I see the bleeding cool article about the comic book 100 power rankings? No, I did not read that, but I will. I will go check that out. I may have to go do that right now. You guys are hilarious. I am gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up. Look, kids wake me up almost like they have a Reggie alarm. That's awesome. Hey, again, I wanna thank you guys for hanging out just a little bit. And again, if you joined the live stream a little late, take a couple of moments, go back and watch it. There was some news that came out recently. It was either earlier today or yesterday about the fact that the Illuminati may be making an appearance in an upcoming MCU movie. In the first part of this video, this one right here, I actually provide you with some insight into some books that you may want to check out that are tied to the Illuminati. As in all things, please do not substitute my judgment for your judgment. Think about it, decide for yourselves if you want to take the money out of your pocket or your PayPal account, however you want to look at it, and plunk it down for a book. Do some research, give some thought to it. Don't do it just because I talked about these books. These books have been in my collection since 2005. And as you saw, I probably overpaid for some of them back then, but who cares? That is money, money under the bridge. All right. So thank you guys for hanging out a little bit. If you need to reach me, feel free to do so at RegieCollects on Instagram, or you can email me at Regie@regiecollects.com. Take care.